channel, and my name is Gigi Young, and I'm going to answer more of your questions. It is my favorite thing to do. If you like these videos and kind of the Q&A dynamic, I have a live Q&A on my premium section of my website where I spend 2.5 hours every month just answering your questions completely randomly, and I love it. So let's go. Okay, so this one is from Tracy Healy. Hello, Tracy. Thank you so much for taking the time to like my page and ask me a question. So your question is about the heart. And as soon as I saw that you asked about the heart, I was like, yes, because the heart is absolutely imperative for us to understand. Esoterica and mysticism is difficult. There's a lot of different places you can start. There's a lot of contradicting information. There's a lot of creepy people in the field. It's unregulated. It's an intimidating field to try to navigate. But there are aspects of this field, of this work, that are shortcuts in a way. And if you can study them, you will find yourself accelerating your practice, your spiritual practice, and your understanding and your wisdom. And the heart is one of those things. The heart, understanding the heart, developing a relationship with the heart is something that makes spirituality easier, because it is actually the chakra and the energy center, or the seal of our time. Which means that because everything's kind of a macro microcosm, as above so below, as we move through the procession of ages, there are certain pathways that represent the whole. So there's certain techniques, or there's certain truths, or there's certain energy centers that represent the story of where we are and the challenges that we face and the answers to them. And the heart is that. And so when you start to learn that and study that, you find yourself understanding a lot more in general. So here we go, Tracy. I'm already on it. So this question says, I would love to have you address how to be one with your heart, how to anchor your heart. I'm not a mystic or a psychic, but I love everything you talk about. Please, can you address and guide people like me? I would love to tune into my psychic side, but how? Love to you, Gigi. Thank you for all you do in this world. Kiss, kiss. Well, thank you so much, Tracy. That just warms my heart. So how to be one with your heart. I have a lot of videos on this, but so let's understand first what the heart is. So if we're going to be one with it, if we're going to work with it and use it, we have to understand what it is. The heart is a harmonizer, and the heart is a balancer. So we have a 7-chakra system, and the heart chakra is smack in the middle of our 7-chakra system. And just like we explored last week, we have sort of a trinity of chakras above us that are psychic chakras that deal a lot with more vast energy, and energy that is essentially outside time. So as soon as you start working with your top 3 chakras, you're dealing with energy and concepts that are outside time. When you start dealing with your lower 3 chakras, then you're starting to get into the beauty of the physical world. And all of that energy starts to become denser and denser and more material, more understood by our lower mind. And the higher energy is almost sort of actually digested by the lower 3 chakras, and our challenge with that, with those lower 3 chakras, is to make real, give birth to, and digest and ground the information from the higher chakra system. So even though they are different in their energy, all chakras are different in their energy, they're different in the perspective they offer you, and they're all very important and unique. They all work together to basically take something that's very, very fine, you know, especially getting up here into the crown chakra. That's some vast information. And if you go even further up the crown chakra, you start getting into cosmic chakra systems and etheric bodies that are attached to you that have a completely different energetic and chakra layout than we do here. But that's another video, that's an advanced video. So we have to realize that we are this sort of, and that's why human life is so hard, is because we are one singularity here that has all of these different mixes of perspective. We have 7 serious levels of perception that we can choose from. That's why people are so different and their auras are so different, is because we're all tapping into our energy centers to different degrees in different ways at different times, right? So this incredible level of uniqueness exists in humanity. So why the heart chakra is so powerful is it's kind of like the Holy Spirit in a way, or the aspect of the Trinity that is the great harmonizer. It's where everything kind of comes together as one. So it sits right in between, and what it will do is it harmonizes information. The best way to understand this in a practical sense is that we have our mind, which is sort of analysis and structure and placing things in boxes. And then we have our emotional center, which is, you know, it's kind of, you know, instinctive. The mind doesn't really usually understand the emotional center, and the emotional center sometimes doesn't make sense to the mind. But when you begin to go into the heart, there's an alchemy that takes place that makes the mind and the emotion, the mind and kind of that emotional body one. And that is actually what harmonizes the entire chakra system. And we can enter, when we enter our different chakra points through the perspective of the heart, we can begin to get the information that we need that is for us at this time and is the most valuable. So when I teach intuition development, I teach a lot about the heart, because the heart is the consciousness that we have to really envelop ourselves in order to get timely information and to actually attract information psychically that is the correct resonance that we need. When we don't have that activated, then we're not going to get information that is correct for the time, because the heart is also the correct time. This is outside of time. The lower 3 chakras are almost 2 in time, and the heart is sort of like perfect time, perfect perspective for us. So let's get into how to be one with the heart. Now that we understand the role of the heart within our human consciousness and within our chakra system, we can begin to understand how to connect with it, how to develop it and be, as you say, one with it. So because the heart acts as this natural transponder of energy and harmonizer of energy, you can imagine that it does get quite a buildup of, I guess, energetic debris. And when we don't take time to sit in the heart and contemplate the heart and develop it, it can actually, the heart chakra can actually harden. It can get kind of a shell around it, and it can be challenging to connect with. So a lot of people, including myself, when I first started to connect with the heart and learn about the heart, you know, you start putting your focus and your energy there, and it doesn't actually feel good. And you hear all these stories of like, oh my God, like I was at the beach and I just like put my hand on my heart and I just said like, hello ocean and hello sunshine, and just pow, my heart just woo, like opened. And you know, you hear these kind of stories and you're like, why isn't that my story? Why didn't my heart like pew open? And you know, and the truth is that it actually takes a lot of practice and time and energy and moving through shadow to open the heart. And so you'll find that when you actually connect with your heart, that you have to move through emotions that you have not wanted to deal with, and you have to move through belief systems that are bad for you, essentially, that are negative for you. And that is really the initiation of the heart. The initiation of the heart is seeing yourself for who you truly are, feeling yourself for who you truly are, and looking at yourself. And this is very personified in the fourth dimension and the astral realm, which is the corresponding dimension of the heart. See, every chakra system has a certain resonance to different places, different dimensional places. And the heart, it really connects with 4 and at times 5D, but it really is associated with the astral realm in 4D, which is a mirror realm. And so the heart does ask you to look at yourself. And the reason why a lot of people get stuck in their lower 3 chakras and they become very heavy and disconnected from spirit is because they keep coming up to the heart, and the heart wants to saturate you with spiritual energy and love, but it can't do that unless you address all of the energy that you've been hiding from yourself. And the lower 3 chakras actually contain a lot of our distorted energy and fear and pain, especially childhood stuff. And so the moment that we activate our heart chakra, all of that has to start to go through a process of healing. So in order to be one with your heart, we have to go through this practice of detoxification. Love is, people talk about having green juice and you know, these physical cleansing techniques, which are great. But I mean, if you want to cleanse yourself and make your body shine, you have to cleanse the heart. You have to go into the heart and you have to face what emotions do you sit in, and not become the adult and say, I'm no longer sitting in this. What can I do to solve this emotional pattern that I have? You know, how many thoughts do you have that you just allow yourself to, you know, indulge in without saying, what activity can I do right now to counterbalance that? And so the heart also asks us to be an adult and to grow up. You know, we have to grow up and become that person that we needed when we were a child, or we have to become that disciplinarian to ourselves, or we have to become that nurturer to ourselves. Maybe you're really hard. Maybe one of the things that comes up in your heart is that you're really hard on yourself and you don't let yourself play and you don't let yourself enjoy life. You have to come in and be that nurturer that says, stop it, you know, let yourself take a painting class, let yourself climb up a tree. You know, your heart is going to be that force in your body that says, okay, we need to get you into balance. And it's going to give you an activity, a thought to think, an emotion to feel that brings you to balance, okay? That's how you're one with the heart, is that when you enter the heart, to be one with it, you have to follow it. You have to follow. You want to be one with the heart? Learn its language, which is your intuition, and follow what it has to say. The more that you follow your heart, the more you become who you truly are. and the more at one with your heart you are, the more power you have. But in order to be one with our heart, we have to first and foremost go through a cleansing process, which is why everybody doesn't do it, is because a lot of people, they don't want to, you know, people will sometimes completely ruin their lives with addictions or with just bad habits, just because they don't want to go into the heart space, because it's so painful for a lot of people when they first begin. Or they have no support system, or, you know, whatever that may be. But the first thing, I mean, really know that going into the heart can be a process of healing, detoxification emotionally and mentally, and looking in the mirror. Then once you have that, start following the advice. Tune into your heart each day and see what it says. Now this part is the part where we get into like the intuition development stuff. I really recommend taking my course Inner Mystic, and even my second level course once you're done that, because I go so into detail that I can't even do in this video with intuition development, including the heart, all of the clairs. I go so deep into that in that course. But basically, you know, everybody develops differently. They have a different unfoldment process. But what I can say generally about, you know, the heart and intuition is that you want to sit with it. So at first you're not going to have any idea what you're doing. You have no reference point. A lot of people have no reference point for how to develop their intuition, what psychic ability feels like, what the heart feels like, what energy feels like. That is the reality. That was me for years. Even though I sit here and I teach intuition development, I think it's because I felt so, I had different abilities, and I didn't relate to other people's stories, and so I really had to be at ground zero. I was really at the bottom when I started to develop it. But what you have to do is you just have to have a very strong routine where you sit with your heart and you just try, and you just kind of place your hands on your heart and you just write down what you think is coming through. You just kind of write down what you feel like it's saying, or the emotions that you feel. You just kind of want to start the pump. You kind of want to just start the process where you are connecting with it, you're feeling, you're placing your hand there, you're trying to build sensation there. And see what comes forward. You have to start. And then on top of that, read as much as you possibly can about the heart, watch videos about the heart. So you want to saturate yourself in some knowledge, and then you just want to show up. Over time, you'll start to realize that your energy is shifting a little bit, but you really have to go for it. The other hack is that more than anything, the heart is activated in a way that we can understand most by love. Okay? Love is the energy, the sensation, the thoughts that activate the heart. More than anything. So even then, if you're having a difficult time connecting with the heart, feeling the heart, first and foremost, place your hands over your heart and feel emotions that are in the spectrum of love, peace, gratitude, warmth, smile. This actually activates and kind of warms up and gets the heart going, and you'll feel it in your body. And then throughout the day, think thoughts that are loving towards yourself. Affirm to yourself, my heart is open. My heart is alive. It is easy to connect with my heart. It is easy to feel my heart. If you do those things, if you sit with your heart, if you learn about it, you continue to study it, if you feel emotions that are centered in love, if you think thoughts that are loving, if you do the affirmations, you have the formula to really do it. The last thing would be have no expectations, because because we have a really, as human beings, we are very, very bad at trying to predict what psychic ability feels like, or trying, like, anytime we have an expectation, especially about sort of psychic stuff, how it should feel, what it's going to be like, what the information should be like, we completely block ourselves. Having expectations about your psychic development is going to be the worst thing that you can do. The energy you want there is actually completely open-ended. You want the energy of play. You want the energy of inner child. That is what you want. You don't want expectations. Expectations are control-based, and when we start dealing with the wild cosmic energy of intuition, that acts like a wood chipper. And by the time it comes down to you, there's nothing left. And you're just gonna get frustrated. So no expectations, none, okay? That's it. So I hope that answers your question with the heart and intuition development. As always, all my love your way. Please consider supporting my channel and my work by making a one-time donation, by signing up for a course, or becoming a premium member of my website, where we get to hang out once a month and do these live Q&As. And you also get forums where you can talk about topics just like this with other intuitives. And you also get exclusive content that will not appear here. So, as always, all my love your way, and I will see you in my next